Hi guys, I'm Nadine from Nadine McCabe Transformational Therapy, and this is my beautiful son Spencer. And today we just wanted to talk to you about suicide. It is just coming up to World Suicide Prevention Day, and we just wanted to do a video about suicide, about the effects of suicide, about looking into triggers and things to look out for with your loved ones, should you be concerned, mainly because this is an issue that's quite close to our heart. We've had quite a bit of experience with it, so we just want to share with you our experience and what we feel is good to know. So for us, we've got a bit of a personal story behind why we want to do this. As I said, Spencer's dad passed away when he was 12 through suicide, and also one of Spencer's close friends shortly after, whilst he was, how old were you when he did it?
15.
15. So when Spencer was 15, one of his best friends from school also killed himself just ahead of the exam year due to the stresses. So, and we've also got a few relatives that are going through a few issues, not so much with suicide, but just wanting to feel physical pain rather than emotional pain. So in terms of Spencer's dad, tell us a bit about your experience with that, Spencer.
Well, my dad has been going through a lot with relationships at the time, which I think that was a big issue. Particularly for him, he always wanted to belong where he was, and I think he didn't feel that when he didn't want to go back to square one, because he'd just recently fallen out with his wife at the time. And I think, yeah, that's a big issue with that.
And did you feel like you saw it coming? Did you see any signs with him?
Well, unlike now, I hadn't been through anything like this then. So I was no way.
And you were a young kid.
I was 12. There's no way I'm going to see it coming. But like, I knew something was wrong. I mean, I was there while they were arguing on occasion. So I knew things weren't right. And there was a point where it got so bad that he drove me away from there, and we stayed the night at his sister's. We knew things were wrong, but I mean, I wasn't there. I was away. You guys were away on honeymoon with Andrew at the time. So it was difficult and came out of nowhere. I think that's the big one with that one.
So do you want to share with everybody how the experiences that you went through in terms of the emotions, how you dealt with them, what you went through afterwards?
I couldn't at the time. I almost followed suit like 3 weeks after. You found me. I was really struggling with it, and I was just about to turn 13. Yeah,
as I recall, the words that came out of your mouth initially when I found Spencer, he just basically said that his dad ended things when it got too painful, and that's what he wanted to do. It was just too painful.
It hurt, and it still hurts, but like, it hurt and it was raw, and I didn't want that to be there anymore, I guess. I wasn't thinking, and as much as I think for doing that, I think I understood why he did what he did. And that sounds weird, but like, I know he wasn't thinking straight, because I know if he was thinking straight, he would never have done that, because he cared far too much about how I felt about things, and that's why I never do that now, because I care far too much about how you'd feel about it. I think when people are in that zone, they don't think about how other people are going to think about it, and if that thought happens to come across their mind, they won't do it.
Yeah,
this in my experience.
Yeah. So what happened with Finley? Do you want to tell us a bit
Finn, about that? Again, that was shock. In fact, this one was even more shocking because there was literally no sign. Finn was a really strong, outwardly. I don't know how it was inwardly. I mean, we're friends, but I didn't know everything about him. he was aspiring to be in the Air Force, in the RAF. He had a very military family. He did cadets. He was a very strong man. You know, he's big, sort of like, you know, he's
Tough persona.
tough guy.
Yeah.
And I remember it because I was all our friends are on like a group chat on Facebook, and someone who lives down the road from Finley was just like, there's just an ambulance just pulled up at his house. And then it got worse, and then there was they've just pulled out a body bag. And then it sort of the events unveiled there, and again it was shock because none of us saw that coming. None of us. And as far as we heard about it, he just, there's a tree in his garden, and he just hung up a noose and did it. And it was just shocking. We did group therapy at school after that.
And how did you find that helped with the group?
Well, I think that was great because it was more like everyone, you could see how everyone else was dealing with it, and it helps you to see how everyone else is moving. There was one guy, he was probably Finn's closest friend, moved on really fast because he knew that there was no changing it, so he just wanted to move on. Yeah, I'd struggle more with that, but.
So the other thing that we want to, obviously we share with you the experiences that we've had. Obviously it's not been an easy thing to deal with, especially for Spencer. Both of these events actually occurred fairly close together. So for a young boy to have dealt with that, experienced that, it's been horrific for him, and he's got through it. And obviously as a mum, it's been hard for me to watch him having to deal with things like that. And obviously I had my own feelings with regards to Spencer's dad. Obviously I loved him to bits, and it had a huge effect on me as well. We also wanted to just share with you a bit of awareness for what help is out there if anybody is feeling like they want to end things, like pain's getting too much, just to let people know that there is support out there. In various different forms. I know some people we've encountered don't particularly want to reach out, don't want to speak, they're a bit wary of speaking. A lot of the help services do offer a web chat facility or a text chat, so you don't particularly have to speak to anybody, but at least you're getting some connection and some support with professionals who can help you. There's charities such as Mind, the Samaritans, there's an organisation called the Calm Zone. They've got a web chat service, and for younger people under the age of 25, which is an organisation that Spencer is actually in touch with, is one called The Mix. I'll put links in the description below to all of these websites, so if anybody does want to have a look at them, please do have a look. I also wanted to share, we wanted to share with you and let you know, if you are having those feelings, exactly what it is that you're leaving behind. So in terms of the feelings for the family, I know a lot of people have reported when they're feeling that way, and I know for Spencer, he can sort of see that mist that comes over people and understand it a little bit. You feel like you're a burden, you're hurting people just by being there, nobody loves you, nobody's going to miss you when you're gone, and that's completely not the case.
Well, like I said, I think if my dad, I'd understand how it would affect me, he wouldn't have done it. If he'd have seen 3 weeks down the line his son almost kill himself, no way he would have done that.
Yeah.
You don't think right at the time, but it's just it's so infinitely wrong, and I don't mean it like it's a cowardly thing to do. I know people say that, but I mean really think about it.
It's not really. It takes a lot for somebody to do it, but
in some ways you can call it courageous, but I don't even want to put that near it. The amount of damage it does to others.
Yeah, I mean, when somebody experiences the loss of a loved one, it's devastating. It's horrendous.
It,
But if it's to do with old age or illness, it's a lot easier to deal with, isn't it, than with suicide? It's something that...
well, you understand it.
Yeah.
You know, it's something you learn that sort of thing. Like if a pet dies in old age, you understand it. You know, you learn about life and death and moving on. You learn about it. You know, it's why people get pet hamsters when they're 3.
Yeah.
To understand, you know, that they'll learn early on. Okay, things don't last forever, but when things get cut short, you feel hard done to. Everyone around you does, and that's not fair.
You feel robbed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I walk around every day and I see people with playing pass with their dads and going out to places, going on a holiday with their family, and you know, pictures and them with their fathers doing all sorts. And I can't do that anymore. Can't. It's a very strong word.
And you go through feelings as well, especially at the very early stages when you lost your dad. There was a lot of anger because everybody was saying to Spencer how much his dad loved him, and for Spencer he couldn't understand initially until he felt it himself.
It just hurt.
Yeah, well, you couldn't understand how that could be so if he left you, and you was quite angry about that initially until you experienced that feeling yourself, and then all of a sudden you had that understanding about it. But you were so angry, weren't you, initially?
I just don't understand how anyone could. I didn't understand.
And then a lot of the family as well, everybody feels guilty, everybody starts questioning whether or not they could have done something.
Yeah, everyone thinks they can do something, which that's just not a nice... Well, I mean, I say this again. You're leaving people with those feelings. Because it's natural when
and you
something
never
happens.
Get over that.
Natural, something happens, no matter how silly it is, you always think, I could have done something. What if I was there? What if I said this on this occasion? What if I'd have not said this on this occasion?
Yeah.
What will have changed? And your mind plays out the scenarios, and then you think, well, if I'd have done that, then he'd still be here, which is such a dumb thing to do. I know dumb's again a strong word, but it's dumb. You need to understand that it's dumb, because otherwise you won't stop doing it. But like I did it a lot, because thinking how much my dad listened to me over other people. If I'd have said, you know, like, if I'd have said I love you before I left, then would it have changed how he was feeling when this and this? Why would I even consider thinking that? Because it's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. I was 12. You can't even consider putting the blame anywhere near me. But I did it to myself. Everyone does it to yourself.
So in terms of the warning signs, I mean, since obviously going through it, we've looked into what warning signs there are, and a lot of the time, people who were having these thoughts, wanting to end things, they'll be having mood swings, they'll be having very down moments, very down days, very up and down, feelings of being hopeless. They might suffer sleep problems, or sleep changes in the sleep patterns. They'll you might not even notice that they might hide the sleep problems from you a little bit, especially if they're really close to you. If they've been having depression and down days, and they've been quite erratic for a while, a sudden calmness can be a bit of a trigger that, you know, something's shifted, something's changed. So if they've been very all over the place and then all of a sudden it goes very calm, that's another warning sign that you just need to sort of watch out for and pick up on and try and get them to start talking to you. They'll start to disconnect a little bit. They'll go within themselves. They won't want to be around anybody. They'll just won't want to socialise with anyone. They'll just want to be inside their own head because they're trying to figure everything out. They'll have a change in their personality. Their appearance may start to look quite different, very very withdrawn and tired and fatigued. They might start self-harming. So you might notice that, you know, they might start doing that initially because, like I say, we've had people close to us recently who have expressed that they've they've not particularly wanted to kill themselves, but they've wanted to feel a physical pain because the emotional pain that they've got is unbearable. So self-harming is sort of the next best thing, other than doing the full thing. They might start making preparations for it, so just be wary of things that they're doing, and they may actually say to you that they're thinking about doing it, or they may start saying little things like that nobody would miss me anyway. Just watch for the slight snippets of conversation.
They're easy to catch when you think about them because they always come out of nowhere. If someone's talking to you, it's sort of light-hearted, and halfway through the conversation, it's like, yeah, I might just go. No one will miss me anyway.
Yeah.
It always come out of nowhere. You'll always know when it's happening, and a lot of the times you might just think, this person feels down, I might just like try and make them feel better, but a lot of the times it can be worse, so just be careful.
So with regards to what do you do if you do notice any of them signs, I think the first thing is if anybody says any little things like that, always take it seriously.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, you can't just brush it off, can you? It's just you've got to take every one of them seriously.
And don't make the excuse in your head that it's just like attention seeking.
Yeah, definitely not.
Because that makes it 10 times worse for whoever's that's being said to. Because just think about it, if you were feeling at the lowest you ever felt, and you try and slightly let someone know, and then they just take it as you're like attention seeking, just want spotlight, it makes you feel way worse.
Yeah, it doesn't make them feel good about themselves, and the whole point of it is that they're wanting some support, they're wanting somebody to pick them up and let them know that everything's going to be okay. So just listen to what they've got to say, take it seriously, take it on board. If they do start talking about suicide, talk to them seriously, ask them questions, ask them the details. Have they thought about how they're going to do it? Have they decided when they're going to do it? Just try and get as much information out of them as you possibly can, because you'll tend to find that if somebody's decided to do it, they do know how and when and it's going to happen.
You plan these things out.
Yeah, it does get planned out. I mean, there's odd ones.
I was going to say that both of the one. Well, actually, no, Finn's is definitely way more planned out. My dad's was 100% in the moment. What I almost did, very much in the moment. You're either not thinking all, or it's super thought out. The ones where you're not thinking all, as far as they're much harder to help, because what do you do if you don't really have any accurate signs? Like, we knew my dad was going through something difficult, but would we know that he'd suddenly just randomly take a full pack
such
of
a nosedive? Yeah.
How would we know that after everything I'd been through, I'd just suddenly walk to the bathroom, pick up some bleach and try and down it? How would we know that? You know what I mean? Whereas if with Finn, I think you would have been able to get more. I mean, Finn was a very closed off person. It's very hard to pick things up like these, but there's more opportunity. Yeah.
I think the main thing as well is not to say things that are like scaremongering, or I'm really worried about you, I'm going to call the police. That can make them quite defensive and stop talking to you, and you don't want them to stop talking. Try
and create a dialogue, otherwise you're not going to get the information you need.
Yeah, definitely. That dialogue's quite important. You've got to be supportive of them and not use scaremongering tactics, because they really don't work with somebody who's feeling that way at all. Do try to encourage them, obviously, to seek professional help. It is super important that they do get the help that they need. Let them know that you'll go with them, and that try and look for stories where people have had these experiences and they've gone to the other side. They've come past it. They've moved past it. The more that they can see that there is another way out, there is another option, and they have got people who care about them, and there is something else. It is super helpful for them to see those. So do try and look into it as much as you can, and find ways of showing them that there are other options. and just encourage them to get help. I think the main thing as well to finish on really is if somebody is that way, and if you do think that there is an imminent danger and they're going to be doing it there and then, just ring 999. Just make sure that you're looking after their safety first, and don't be worried about doing that. Just make sure that you're safe and they're safe. And hopefully this video we're hoping is a bit of useful information to someone, and at least offers somebody some help. And if we can at least prevent one person from doing it, then it's done its job.
And remember, on Suicide Prevention Week, you put a semicolon on your wrist.
So thanks for listening, guys. As I said, I'm Nadine McCabe. I'm from Nadine McCabe Rapid Transformational Therapy, and I offer services for people who are feeling depressed, suffer with anxiety. So please do check out my website, and if you need any help, do get in touch.